This is your boy J Money here. What is poppin', YouTube fam? I hope you guys had a really good Easter Sunday. I'm giving you guys a second place deck profile. Again, what is with me in second place? I don't get it. But this one is quite unusual. This is something that I did not really expect. I did not expect to get second place with a Kaiba deck. And when I go over the profile, you will know exactly what I mean by Kaiba deck. A Kaiba deck profile consisting of all like the big things that Seto Kaiba himself has played in his deck throughout the anime. Not sure what he played in the manga or manga, whatever how you want to pronounce it, but I'm talking about XYZ's, Dragon Cannon support, Blue Eyes, and of course his pride and soul, Obelisk the Tormentor. Yes, I actually summoned Obelisk twice with this deck. So let's actually just go through the deck profile to see exactly how it plays. Alrighty then, starting this second place deck profile off, we're starting things off strong with 3 X-Cross Cannon. X-Cross Cannon is the starter of the entire deck, and it'll likely lead to the rest of the deck, right? The rest of the archetype. Believe it or not, you can get to the XYZ or to the Blue Eye stuff with specifically the Light Union machine stuff, and I'll show you how in just a little bit with the deck profile. But first, 1 White Dragon in your head, 1 Zillion Tank. I did want to play multiples of these two, but overall, I think me playing these at 1 was good enough to, like, sometimes you do want to open them because you want to continue to extend past your opponent's interactions, but it does leave your Platinum Gadget without any effects if you don't already have Torque Tune Gear in your hand, but it turned out to be not that big of a deal that it didn't have multiples. But anyway, on to the ABCs. We got 1A, 3 Bs, there you go, and 1 C. So 1A, 1 C, and 3 Bs. B is definitely the card that you want to open most of the time. It searches. None of these cards are once per turn except the X-Cross Cannon. The X-Cross Cannon is the only thing that is once per turn out of all of these like machine unions, right? White Dragon in your head not being once per turn, very, very important, very, so good, so good. But anyway, to round off the unions, we got 1 Union Driver because we do still play Union Hanger. And Torque Tune Gear. Torque Tune Gear is what is going to help us bridge from the XYZ stuff to the Blue Eye stuff. And you'll see how in just a minute. But we do play 1 Vanilla X-Head Cannon for the Union activation. And now we're going to go round off the support with 3 Hanger, 4 Union Hanger with the Terraforming, and 3 Union activations. Oh yeah, this is a 60 card list, by the way. Me and 60 card list. I know some of you in the comments are gonna be like, "Why do you love playing 60 card decks?" Reason being is because a lot of these decks that I play have like 38 card engines, maybe 35 card engines. 40 card engines, 45 card engines, and whatnot. The engines are big, but if you keep the list at just their engine, then you have no non-engine, and so. Yeah, you'll basically lose every game that you go second because you don't open non-engine. So, what you do, you make it 60 and you fit in room for some non-engine, so you at least have some non-engine to combat your opponent when you don't go first. So, just quick little disclaimer. 3 unauthorized reactivations. This allows you to go second. This is the engine card that lets you go second most often. When your opponent tries to interact with you, you can just kind of chain this and equip A, B, or C depending on what your opponent is trying to interact with you with. Typically, you're going to equip A, Assault Core from your deck, to make whatever is being threatened unaffected by monster effects. But yeah, but it's also a pseudo starter as well if you already have a union and you don't have access to hanger, and it just gets a driver, which gets you to anything else. Right? Cool. Now for the blue eye stuff, we got 1, 2, as well as 3 blue eyes. We got 1 blue eyes jet and 2 OG blue eyes white dragons. I did not use jet at all. In fact, I sighted it out a decent amount of times, so the jet didn't really do much. But main of white, we got 3 of them. This is searchable via the XYZ engine and whatnot, and you know, so if you have the whole like ABC XYZ union combo, you're going to get to maiden. And I'll show you how just a little bit later. But first, 3 sages in case you don't open any of the union combo. You can still do blue eyes. So 3 wishes. You know, pretty standard. 1 true light. 1 roar of the blue-eyed dragons. 1 mausoleum of white. I did not really resolve. I did not resolve the spirit of Eyes of Blue a single time. The Mausoleum of White literally did not matter. I would have loved it for it to matter a little bit more, but it just didn't. So maybe it was cuttable. And to round off the Blue Eyes engine, 1 Majesty of the White Dragons. I did resolve this card a couple of times. And alright, so how can this possibly be a Kaiba deck without his pride being Obelisk the Tormentor? I've summoned this twice with Union Activation. Luckily, Union Activation just allows you to search Obelisk and immediately normal summon it on the opponent's turn and whatnot. And it is, again, this is like so anime, but it's so fun at the same time. Like it was still game, right? I would just end on like double Spirit Dragon, Photon Lord, you know, ABC Dragon Buster, and stuff like that. And it was just, yeah, like, you know, Tachyon Transmigration. There was no way they were breaking the board anyway. But I just want to summon Obelisk, you know, just to make it a complete Kaiba deck. So I did just that. Speaking of Photon Lord, how do we get to it? We get to it with Galaxy Soldier because we search it on Photon Dragon. And any light monster that's special summon when Photon Dragon is on the field, you can target that special summon monster. You can either make it level 4 or level 8. And oftentimes, you don't even make Soldier level 8. You make Tortune Gear level 8. And what you search with Galaxy Soldier would be Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Primal. Tachyon Primal is just a free summon because you have the Galaxy Photon Dragon on the field. It's a Dragon XCs, so you can summon this from your hand, and then from there it allows you to add Tachyon Transmigration on normal or special summon. So why do I use Tortune Gear as another level 8? Well, I'm gonna go and spoil it for you. We make Arceala of the White Forest, the level 6 White Forest Synchro monster, right? So we use Galaxy Soldier in Tortune Gear to make Arceala and like send like Union Hanger, for example, to add Maiden to our hand. Since it is a light spellcaster, it is able to be searched off of just your XYZ engine because, you know, after you use your Union controller, you know, you get your Z Zillion tank, you summon your Z, equip the Y from the banish, equip your B Buster Drake, and you overlay into Photon Dragon, right? B is going to add you a card to discard off a Soldier. You're going to discard it, which is typically going to be A, and you're going to add Tachyon Primal, right? You're going to make Arceala, right? You're going to add Maiden, and then you're going to go Arceala and Maiden into Arceala and Union Controller, since they're both level 6s, but one's a tutor. You can make Crimson Dragon. You'll add Synchro Rumble. You'll activate the Synchro Rumble to summon your Tortune Gear, Photon Dragon is still in the field, you make the Tortuga level 8, then you summon this, and you add your Transmigration, you make Photon Lord, and at the end of your board, you just set the Transmigration. Now you have 2 negates instead of 1 negate, as you would have if you were to just play Cyber Dragon Infinity. So, that is how that works, and that is how you get to your Blue Eyes combo with Arciella. Anyway, moving on, we got some free agents, we got Call By, Triple Tactics. Again, we gotta have some non-engine in this deck. And we got Azarum, since we are gonna be light locked because the Union stuff will light lock you. You need to play good light extra deck monsters, and Still Hot Rabbit is one of them. And for other non-engine, since we are playing some Blue Eye stuff, you know, we may as well play some searchable non-engine. You know, 3 Effect Veilers, you know, 3 Ash, because, I mean, it's Ash. You know, 3 Fuas, because we're not going to always go first. And, you know, since we want to still respect things like Ryzeal and even Malice, because they're going to search more. You know, 3 Droll Lockbirds. You know, Mermail is probably still in the game. You know, so Droll Lockbird is still kind of a mainstay. So, that is my 60 card main deck. Now, onto my extra. Extra will be 1 Platinum Gadget. This is, you know, starting off the Light Machine XYZ stuff. We got the Union Controller and the ABC Dragon Buster. For those of you who do not know, Union Controller, you could special summon it, but you specifically need a White Dragon Gearhead or a Z-Zillion tank on the field and a Light Machine to banish to summon this out. When it's summoned, you can add a, I think it's a spell card? Yeah, spell or trap from your deck that mentions Union monster in its text. And then once per turn, not a hard once per turn by the way, you can special summon a Union from your hand. So if you have played multiples of these in your extra deck, you could eventually go into another Union Controller and then special summon another monster from your hand as well. So I wonder, can you actually banish Union Controller for Union Controller? Because it takes a Light Machine plus White Gearhead or Z-Zillion. Must first be summoned by banishing above you control. I just spell trap. You can only use this effect once per turn, and then once per turn to your main phase. Oh, looks like you can banish Union Controller for Union Controller. How about that? Interesting. Nice, 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 nice. Anyway, to round off our machine engine, 1 XYZ Hyper Dragon Cannon. I did not side into Zawardo or Ancient Fairy Dragon. I really should have. Because Blue Eye Spear Dragon can tag into Ancient Fairy Dragon for no reason. So I could have Ancient Fairy'd and grabbed, you know, the like blown up either Mausoleum or Union Hanger to grab the Light Barrier. And I could have summoned this instead of, like, let's say ABC. You know, summon the 3 pieces, went for Zawardo. Like, I could have just easily sided in the Zawardo, but I did not. And now I'm talking about Arcana Force, 21 the World, which, you know, on heads during the end phase, you send 2 monsters to your graveyard to turn skip. And its attack points is 3100, which is a good Metaltronus target for Ryzeal for when your opponent wants to have a material on Duo Drive to make Detonator 3100. You know, Zawardo is a light monster with 3100 attack, so it is still something where you can Metaltronus out, you know, even if your opponent is trying to play around your nib target. So that is actually kind of funny. It's a funny interaction. I have done it once, but not during this tournament. Anyway, enough of that. Galaxy Photon Dragon. That is how you're going to get to your Galaxy Soldier, to your Galaxy Attack Primal, to get to your Photon Lord. You know, and of course, Arciella gets you to your Blue Eyes combo. Line of the Light Charmer. I was playing 3 original LZs and 3 Tales of the White Forest to be able to search into my White Forest engine, right? Because this is a light spellcaster, or a spellcaster to fulfill the condition to be able to activate Tails if I open it. So my thought process was, if I got A, B's, and C's just in my back row as equips, I could just send them for LZs and get pluses off of them and make RCL anyway. But I realized that you can just kind of do that with the ABZ XYZ stuff anyway. So I decided to cut the LZs and the tails and the Russia and all that for more non-engine. But like but it made me think that maybe this card doesn't serve that much purpose in my extra deck at that point if I don't have any spellcasters and whatnot. But like, yeah, it's a light link that I can link into, but there's better light links I can make. But I decided to keep it in, and what do you know, I played against a voiceless player where this card essentially won me the game because it kept them suppressed. I kept summoning Ghost Ogre, his Ghost Ogre back to my field, and I was able to hit his barrier. Like, he thought I was going to summon back his low because I didn't get his low, but I'm like, nah, this guy's on like no cards in his hand. You know what? If he wants a barrier, he's going to have to go through this Ghost Ogre because he had SP on board, but he couldn't just run over the Ghost Ogre because, you know, attack stat versus defense stat. Anyway, I'm glad I kept it in. Very glad I kept it in. Silhouette Rabbit. Again, light link you want to make to clear space. 1 spirit, only went into it once. 2 blue-eyed spirit dragons, made them all the time. Crimson Dragon, always tagged into it with Spirit Dragon or hard made it. Crimson Dragon, like if I had some sort of combo, like I always summoned it. And 1 Ultimate Spirit Dragon, 1 Saphir Divine Dragon to round off my extra deck. So, yeah, it's a nice, you know, like I said, it's a Kaiba deck. Side deck, by the way. Perulia's got to be able to draw those cards, you know. 1, 2, and 3 meows because, like, this is still somewhat of an open-ended format. You don't know what you're gonna play against, so better to cover your bases. 3 salesmen in the side deck this time, and not the main. Droll is still kind of here. You kind of want to deal with it, and again, you could side this in against any matchup. You just have to know what your biggest issue is, you know, and just take care of that for the turn. So yeah, 3 dry downs specifically for Droll, and you know, also just in case they don't have Droll, take their starter. So yeah, because we want to respect Odeon and Blue Eyes itself, you know, 2 L Storms. And yeah, 1 A to Z energy load in case I end up playing against some deck that's gonna force me to play a crazy grind game. I wanted to prepare for the grind game, and it's also just something that I could side in for going first. You know, drag down is something I could side in for going first because obviously I main Fua, and if I'm going first, Fua is kind of useless. So, you know, you wanted to have something for going first, so Fua fit the bill pretty often, and you don't necessarily want to open Jet Dragon either, so, you know, I would side that on oftentimes as well. So, yeah, guys, that is the deck. Alright, guys, that is the deck that is Seto Kaiba. Do you guys like it? Again, I didn't expect to get second place with it. I expected to maybe win like 2 rounds with it, but no, I went undefeated until the last round. And, you know, I bricked game 1, and game 2 I got Perulia'd, and didn't really have a way around that. So, it is what it is, but nice to know this is a really good experience, though, with Seto Kaiba being with me with his skill, not his heart of the cards, not his luck, his pure skill, and his dragons and machine monsters and things of that nature. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Share them down in the comments below. That being said, this is J Money, and I am signing out. Thanks for watching.